This man better get exactly what's coming to him.
You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
What's up? We haven't got an opportunity to talk about Iryna Zarutska's tragedy. And first off, before we get into everything, my heart goes out to her family. May she rest in peace. This story in this case is absolutely devastating and terrifying all at the same time. But this Ukrainian refugee, this woman, she got onto a train right after work, and she sat right in front of an absolute monster. Long story short, an absolute monster. This man pulled out a weapon and attacked her, taking her life right then and there. Her life was gone on that train. This man tried to get off the train inconspicuously, even though her blood was all over him and he was leaving traces of her red, got to use these code words, all on the floor of this train. He eventually got arrested immediately after at the next stop. Now, he's looking at some serious charges. He's looking at life in prison and possibly looking at the DP. So he might be meeting Sparky here in the near future if he's found guilty, which he will be found guilty. But nonetheless, we got to address the racism in the room. Let's just be real. He is a black man who attacked a white woman. Now, here's the thing, and took the life of this white woman. Here's the thing. I get it. Okay? We've addressed it now, so we can move on. Because one of the things that is more important, that has nothing to do with race, is the fact that he raised his hand, chose to take this woman's life, and tried to get away with it. And then to add insult to injury, this is somebody who also has a very checkered past, a very volatile criminal history. He's been locked up more than 14 times. This has nothing to do with race. And I know there's going to be worlds in corners where people are going to be like, oh, this is all about race. This has to do with race, blah, blah, blah. Has nothing to do with race. Evil wears many faces, y'all. Many faces. We were just talking about one case just a few days ago, if not the top of last week, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. But this is beyond race. This has to do with how lackadaisical, how lenient some of this judicial system can really be. This is a man that should have been locked up after his first violent offense. But he wasn't. He was let go countless times, only for him to meet this woman on this tragically fateful night. This is not something that should be happening. This woman should be alive and free, living her life, doing whatever she wants to pursue, seeing the full potential of her life, but she's not. Why? Because the judicial system, for some weird reason, is lenient on a criminal like Decarlos Brown Jr. Now, I want to talk to you guys about something. Again, this has nothing to do with race. Evil wears many faces, but for some odd reason, sometimes evil gets away with things. Sometimes evil slips right through the cracks and they go out and do it again, like the Decarlos situation. Let's talk about Emmanuel Haro really quick, that young boy that went missing, and they still have not found his remains. His father, Jake Haro, or the guy I like to call him Jake the Fake, in the past, he did terrible things to his own 10-week-old daughter. Her name is Promise now. Terrible, volatile things. He had a suspended sentence, was in prison for 6 months for the volatile things that he did to his daughter. A daughter that lives with a trach, a feeding tube, that is now blind, can't talk, can't walk, has to have somebody attend to her for the rest of her life. When she was born a very healthy and beautiful girl. But because this violent individual decided to do terrible things to her at a young age of 10 weeks old, she can no longer do any of the things that we can do, that we're all lucky enough to do. which is even as simple as eating food and enjoying the taste of life. She can't even do those things. That man took that little girl's life, and he got 6 months and a suspended sentence. The rest of the years, 4-year probation for the volatile things that he did to his daughter. Now, here's the thing. When I look at certain things like this, I'm gonna be real, guys. You should be paying the price depending on how bad the crime is. The punishment must match the crime. Maybe I'm old school like that. Maybe I'm old school with that thought process. But I don't understand why any judge would ever look at anyone of the likes of Jake Haro or Decarlos Brown Jr. and sit there and go, I'll be lenient on you because I believe you'll be better the next time. And guess what? He had 14 other next times, guys. We're going to look at his criminal record. 14 other next times. And now we're here, which is absolutely crazy. Now, and of course, like I said, it's become heavily politicized. And they're trying to turn it into something that it's not. This has everything to do with the fact that this is a violent individual that slipped through the cracks. And again, this is something that we hear about time and time and time again. There are multiple DeCarloses. There are multiple Jake Haros out there in the world, slipping through the cracks and repeat offenders over and over and over again. The punishment must match the crime. But now you got the feds getting involved. They ain't playing. They said, hey, miss me with this nonsense. Fool me once, shame on you. Right? Can't get fooled again. So now they're looking at slapping him with a federal crime. But I'm going to tell you right now, this guy's already looking at the DP. He's already looking at life behind bars. He ain't getting out. I mean, at least as long as he doesn't have some sort of judge that's just going, well, you just unalived one person. Come on. You know, hopefully that's not the case because that would be absolutely knuckin' futz. I think we can all agree on that. But they're tacking this on him. And I don't know if this is like some sort of political move of some sort. But hey, regardless, this man's going to get locked up for good and he's going to get justice served to him. But that same justice should have been served to him a long time ago. So let's take a look at this. The feds are going after the man accused of fatally attacking Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zarutska on a North Carolina train because the suspect has just been charged with a federal crime. So President Trump's DOJ announced today, just a little bit ago, that the suspect in this fatal attack, Decarlos Dejuan Brown Jr., is charged with one count of committing an act causing demise on a mass transportation system. And again, I can't show you the video, guys. I can't. Okay? It's bad. It's very, very bad. And nor would I want you guys to see the video. You can see the still, and the still says enough. You know? Federal prosecutors say the fatal attack happened on August 22nd on the Lynx Blue Line light rail in Charlotte. The video shows a man in a red hoodie unfolding, a knife, and then attacking the woman who is sitting down right in front of him. And it almost like, if you see the video, almost seems like he's talking to himself, like he's got some sort of, like he's got voices in his head or something like that, telling him to do something, or he's having a conversation with an imaginary friend. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. He's definitely unhinged, for sure. Why is he not in a psych ward? Why is he not? Why is he on this train? You see what I'm saying? Somebody like this should be locked up, period. The feds say the attacker in the video is Brown and the victim is Zarutska, okay? And of course, Trump called him an absolute lunatic. Now, Pam Bondi, Attorney General Pam Bondi, says that this was a horrific attack and vows the feds will, quote unquote, seek the maximum penalty for his unforgivable act of violence. She says Brown, quote unquote, will never again see the light of day as a free man. But he's already going to not see the light of day as a free man for good, because he's on tape caught doing what he's doing. He's good. He's done. He's done. The only thing I can think of is they're doing this right now because they're trying to get back in the good graces of the general public because of everything that's been going on with Epstein. Yes, I said it. Okay. Listen, it's an opportunity. This is definitely a big, huge conversation. People are politicizing the hell out of it. And one of the other reasons why everybody's heavily politicizing it right now is because they feel like left media has not been talking about it. Because if it was let's just say, a white man attacking a black woman, that leftist media would go ham on this. Well, I'll tell you what. There's been a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum, both sides of the political aisle, talking about this. That's inaccurate. But of course, people want to put out certain things to appease their specific political agenda. And now we see something that's going on with Pam Bondi. And Pam Bondi's looking like Boo Boo the Fool right now. I know some of y'all feel some type of way about the Epstein stuff, meaning you think that Trump isn't doing anything wrong, that they're not hiding the information from the general public and all that stuff. But right now, Trump is not looking super great right now to a lot of people because of the information that's coming out. And Pam Bondi's been looking like a fool too when she initially said that Epstein list didn't exist, and now apparently it really does. Or saying that cameras in his cell block were shut off a minute before midnight every night because those video cameras be old, and that's the reason why we haven't seen any footage yet. That footage just came out just last week. So again, like I said, they're trying to do everything they can to get their base back. Let's be real. The MAGA base is starting to, dissipate a little bit. You look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, she was MAGA till she died. And now she's going against them a little bit, at least when it comes to the Epi stuff. Crazy, right? And then FBI Director Kash Patel, another person that was looking like a fool with the Epstein file situation. He was looking like a fool too. He's hopped on, right? And now they're trying to hit this guy, Decarlos, with a federal crime. That's fine. Do you? But this man is already going to be locked up for good. And what they need to do is take this as a learning experience and say, yeah, the judicial system needs to be harsher. And the punishment needs to match the crime, period. And that these judges who are coming up with with these criminal sentencings need to come up with, need to make sure that these punishments most definitely match the crimes so that these guys can't keep coming out here over and over and over again, unaliving people and doing bad things. Period, point blank, y'all. Period, point blank. But moving on, he says, Kash Patel says the Bureau is helping the investigation to ensure justice is served and the perpetrator is never released from jail. He won't get released from jail because he's caught on tape doing this, and there's no way on God's green earth. Okay, but at the same time, nothing wrong with making sure that they really solidify and make sure that dude never comes out. That's fine. Do you, boo-boo. Okay? But he ain't coming out. It would have to be a stroke of genius, a freaking miracle, to let this very volatile and violent criminal back in the public streets. That would be insane. Okay? So, of course, he was calling the incident a brutal attack and a disrespectful act that should never happen in America. I agree. And, of course, this is Iryna. Okay? So feds say cops were called at 9:55 p.m. on August 22nd for an attack on a light rail train in Charlotte, with callers indicating a woman had been attacked by a male. They say responding officers found the victim in the rail car. She sustained serious wounds. Okay, you know, I got to use these code words, guys. I'm sorry. The criminal complaint against Brown, the attacker, says a pocket knife was recovered from the scene. The feds say Brown pulled this out of his pocket and then attacked Iryna 4 minutes after she had sat down right in front of him. And of course, he was attacking her. And the video's out there. I just can't show it to you guys, nor would I, like I said before. After the attack, the feds say Brown walked away from Zarutska, and responding officers located Brown on the light rail platform, and then that's when they actually arrested him. Now, they say U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson says she deserves justice, and we will bring justice to her and her family. Federal charges are necessary to protect the public and ensure confidence in our transportation systems. Brown faces a maximum statutory sentence of life in prison or the full-on DP if convicted. And he's going to be convicted, and he's going to look at some serious time behind bars. He's in there for the rest of his life for what he did. There's no way. And they can't sit there and say, oh, it's an insanity plea. This woman didn't do anything to him. You see what I'm saying? And he's a repeat offender. Repeat offender. They can't use that excuse anymore. That'd be insane. So Mecklenburg County Court and jail records show this monster Brown, okay, has been arrested in connection with 14 cases spanning more than a decade. His history includes convictions of felony larceny, robbery with a dangerous weapon, and communicating threats, leading to a 6-year prison sentence in 2015 for incidents dating to 2013 and 2014. He was released 5 years ago in 2020. Within months of his release, he was charged with attacking his sister. Okay? Even Brown's mother has blamed the courts for allowing her son to be out in the community. That is insane. You got somebody who is, even his own mama is sitting here going, wait, no. Please lock him up. Why is he out here? He is a dangerous man. He has a mental health history issue history as well. He's been diagnosed with schizophrenia and has a documented pattern of delusional behavior. In January, he was arrested after allegedly repeatedly calling 911 to claim that a man-made material, quote unquote, had been implanted in his body, and it was dictating his ability to eat, walk, and speak. You mean to tell me this is somebody that should be out here breathing in this freedom air? I'm saying in combination of everything, because there's plenty of people out here with mental health issues. There's plenty of people who live out here with schizophrenia, but they are getting treated. They are speaking to somebody, and they're using proper medication for those ailments. But nonetheless, you got a man who has a violent history, okay, criminal history. Then on top of that, he has schizophrenia. He's attacked people. He has schizophrenia. Police described that arrest as a misuse of the emergency system and noted concerns about his mental stability. But he was released without bond. By July, a judge had ordered a competency evaluation, but it wasn't completed. And Brown remained free until that fatal attack. After his arrest and Zarutska's unaliving, prosecutors filed a motion for another competency evaluation. Court records confirmed that Brown is being held without bond at the Mecklenburg County Jail. Now, I have said already, this case has highlighted systemic gaps in the intersection of mental health and public safety. Absolutely. You got somebody out here that is not well in the mind, respectfully, not well in the mind, constantly getting spat out from the system, out of jail or out of prison, only for him to go do something again that's going to get him arrested and thrown back into jail. But instead of the system going, okay, he's a repeat offender, or this is not his first time being incarcerated for acts that are violent, maybe we should keep him locked up. No, they go, let's just let him back out. The leniency behind this is what is so insane to me. Like I said before, this has nothing to do with race and everything to do with our systemic system and how we approach mental health and repeat offenders, violent repeat offenders with mental health issues. That is the thing that needs to be handled. Look at all the other situations that we've seen as of late. And we're not even talking about gun control, okay? We could tap into that, but we're not. Think about all the things, all the other situations that we've seen countless times where a violent offender is set free, only for them to do it all over again, sometimes even worse. And in a situation like this, we're seeing exactly that. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. Again, like I said, everyone's trying to politicize it for the wrong reasons. Let's politicize it for the right reasons. We need to find ways to, one, protect our loved ones from situations like this. And of course, protect those that are getting incarcerated. Protect them from hurting themselves or hurting someone else by getting them the proper help that they rightfully deserve and locking them up and giving them the proper sentences that meet the crimes that they're committing. We can't keep being so lenient. And that needs to change immediately. Again, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. We'll talk here soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.